Welcome to the Pix2Net tutorial series. In this tutorial, we'll be importing layers. If you'll open your tutorial project that you created in the Create New Project tutorial, you can do that by going to Open Recent and saying Tutorial Project, and it will open up like I have here. There are two ways that we're going to discuss importing layers. The first way is we'll import layers using an existing Pix2Net project. To do that, we click on Import and we say Import Pix2Net layer from existing project. And we'll navigate to our project. It'll be in the tutorial directory that you download under Project to Import, and you click on the pix2net.prj and hit open. You want to highlight all four of these layers and say add selected layers. You'll notice in the lower left the taskbar is advancing. If you click on it, the task manager will open up and you can watch the progress in real time. Okay, once it's done importing, you can click on the overlay and hit the home key, and it will bring this into focus. So right now we see M3. If I uncheck that and click poly, you can see the poly, and then you can see the contact layer, and then we have the active layer. And I can zoom in for you so you can see what those look like up close. Now the other way to import layers is if you have a data set that you've previously taken not using Pix2Net, you can import that selecting Pix2Net layer from multiple images. And for the tutorial, we have some images for you in your tutorial layers to import. And we'll start with M1 and hit open. And here's the import layer dialog. Now you can see it requires rows, columns, a resolution, and an overlap. So if you go to your tutorial directory and go into layers to import, there's a text file called layer import settings. When you open it, you see that we have a chart with each layer that we want to import, the rows, the columns, the resolution that you'll use, and the overlap. So for M1, we want to use 5 rows, 5 columns, a resolution of 34.317, and an overlap of 10%. If you're doing this with files that you created, you can go to file names and make sure your SEM may index files when you take your images, and that's what ours does, and it rasters from top to bottom, so this way. You may also have file names that are XY coordinates, and kind of goes X, Y, and it would be like a number, text string, number, text string, and alternately you might have a Y, X numbering system of your images. The format and the numbering is automatically detected, so you should never have to fill that in. Once we're done with our information, we click Import, and we'll see in the Task Manager it will update as it's importing. Okay, so once M1 is fully imported, you see the progress is finished in the Task Manager. You can unclick M3 and look at M1. You can notice that it gets imported in an unstitched state, and we'll cover that in the next tutorial. For now, we'll continue to order our layers in a way that makes sense. So I'm going to highlight M1 and click down, and it's not letting me click down, which means that there's probably a problem with our indexes. So if I right click on the layer and hit Fix Indexes, now I should be able to move that layer down where I want it, so that the layers are ordered in a way that makes sense for the electrical stack up. Now let's import the next layer. We'll import Pix2Net layer from multiple images, and we'll go up one directory to V1 and open that, and we'll look at our text file, and we see V1 is 6 by 5 at a resolution of 44.603. So we'll update that information, and it's a 10% overlap, and we click import, and the same thing as with Metal 1. Okay, so now we see we have V1 in the project now, and we want to click import Pix2Net layer for multiple images and grab M2, or you can kind of skip ahead if you would like to at this point. M2, we'll look at our text file and see M2 is 6 by 5, same resolution as V1. 6 by 5, same resolution. We can hit import. Alright, so now we have one more layer left, so we go to import Pix2Net layer for multiple images and go to V2 and say open, and in V2 we see we have 5 by 5 with a resolution of 43.319. So we want to say 5 by 5 and change this to 43.319. And this layer actually has a 2% overlap. And now we'll click import. Alright, now that we have all the layers in here, I'm going to click some of them off because it gets a little cluttered, and I'm going to reorder the layers by highlighting a layer and clicking on the down arrow. And now we see our layers make logical sense: M3, V2, M2, V1, M1, poly, contacts, and active. At this point, I'd like to add a restore point, so I can always come back to right after I imported my layers, and I will say this is post import and layer ordering. And you can also skip ahead in the demo project that's provided. You can go to the recovery system and go to the project that you're in, and you'll see post import and layer ordering. If you want to restore to this point in the demo project, you just highlight it and then you click this button, go to the restore point, and you'll be able to pull back the project, the demo project given to you to this point. So the next tutorial that we'll be doing will be stitching.